So I think reframing what we understand as communication in this energy landscape, and it's not just the flow of energy, but the information is actually in the resistance of that energy, which allows for transformation. Is we need tools. We really need tools to measure that. And we have one way with like the NADH, the redox mechanism. But again, those are readouts of the actual resistive network.
Yeah.
I
Like
imagine.
15.
Correct. Those are all readouts. But I think what we are missing is the real-time measurement of the resistance of the resistive networks.
Yeah. And this makes new technology, new approaches. Like I think this is a really special time in history. Like energy-based, not energy aura or woo-woo things, but energy-based technologies, energy-based therapies might be, pretty close in the future, where we have ways to read energetic states, not just molecularly, but maybe in other ways through light or through electrical activity. And then we have ways to, write information, not by acting at the molecular level, which is what drugs do, but by acting at the energetic level. And maybe with, things like light therapy.
TMS, I think,
TMS.
is a really good pipeline for really showing that. There's like a clinical metric for that as well. And I'm really excited for the TMS work.
So we're in the process of developing a research organization that can help, create a new science. Like we've been looking at health and disease with a really narrow disease focused perspective. Like 95% of what we do in biomedicine is disease focused. And that's a really narrow lens. It's clear that we don't have an objective way to quantify health. Like this needs to change. And we don't have a science of the healing process. Like that which preserves health is your ability to heal every day. From like little physical wounds, if your DNA is broken, you need to heal that. Cell membrane, you need to make new mitochondria, digest the old ones, make new ones. Psychological wounds, something happens hard during the day, you go to bed, wounded. You wake up a little, refreshed and healed, and we grow through difficulties. We don't know how this works. Like we don't have a science of the healing process. This is like a really big gap. So we're developing this field of healing science, and we need this field to be grounded in first principles of life. And I think the energy resistance principle is a tool, that now it becomes testable. Like they're elements, the energy potential, the flux, and we understand how these are driven relative to each other. There's still a lot of work to be done, but this opens the possibility in my mind for the first time. I've never been able to think about about insulin resistance from an energetic perspective. Now there's a framework, and we're doing a study to test, predictions of that energy resistance principle theory of insulin resistance, and testing the consequences long term. So it opens up a bunch of possibilities, and then if the ERP is real, and at this point I'd say I'm like 90% plus convinced that this is real. Everything boils down, our existence boils down to energy resistance. Then that should apply across scales. It should apply the level of mitochondria, which we know is true. I described some experiments earlier. Like an overload cell is mitochondria with electrons, with or without the ability to flow, and you see consequences of this. We know what happens in patients with mitochondrial disease, right? There's they're important ground truths, observations and experiments that we've done. But this principle, I think, should scale at other levels of experiences, including at the level of subjective experiences and at the level of the mind, like Nirosha alluded to. So the states like psychiatric, disorders and there's
even basic social interactions.
Yeah.